If the AfD wins, maybe it's good for Germany, maybe it's not.
It has to be a grand coalition led by the CDU.
You are no longer allowed to stand for Germany. And I think back then, Germany really stood for quality. It truly stood for doing things.
I'm hoping who's not gonna win, which is gonna be the CDU and the AfD.
I'm neutral on that. I just don't want the far right to win.
Robert Habeck and the Green Party.
Hi everyone and welcome to the Freedom is Not Free channel. My name is Stan. Today we're diving into Germany's election system and its major political parties. A lot of people are curious about German politics but find it complicated. Don't worry, I'll break it down in a simple way so you can understand it fast and easy. Germany has a parliamentary system and its elections use a mixed member proportional representation MMP system, which is a combination of proportional representation and direct voting. Each voter has 2 votes. The first vote, Erststimme, elects a candidate directly in their local district. Whoever gets the most votes wins. And the second vote, Zweitstimme, determines the proportion of seats each party gets in the Bundestag, federal parliament. There is an important rule. A party must get at least 5% of the national vote or win at least 3 direct seats to enter parliament. This prevents too many small parties from fragmenting the government. And now let's look at Germany's key political parties, their representative colors and political stance. Number 1, Social Democratic Party of Germany, SPD. Their color is red. Political position is center-left. Traditional working class party, focused on social welfare and workers' rights. Chancellor Olaf Scholz is from SPD, leading the traffic light coalition, which consists of SPD, FDP and the Greens. SPD is one of Germany's oldest and biggest parties, but has faced decline in support in recent years. Number 2, Christian Democratic Union, CDU or CDU, and Christian Social Union, CSU or CSU. Their color is black. And political position is center-right. CDU is Germany's main conservative party, supporting businesses and traditional values. CSU is CDU's Bavarian sister party. Angela Merkel was CDU's most famous leader, and CDU is currently the largest opposition party favoring economic stability and conservative policies. Number 3 is a Free Democratic Party, Liberal Democratic Party, FDP. Their color is yellow, and political position is liberal pro-business. They support low taxes, small government and free markets. Currently they are a part of the ruling coalition alongside with SPD and the Greens. Christian Lindner, Germany's finance minister, is from the FDP party. FDP also plays a kingmaker role, deciding coalition governments. Number 4 is the Greens, Die Grünen. Their color is pretty obvious, green, and political position is environmentalist and progressive. They focus on climate change policies, renewable energy and social justice. Currently in government as part of the traffic light coalition with SPD and FDP. Annalena Baerbock, Germany's foreign minister, is from the Greens and is known for a strong stance on Russia and China. The Greens are popular amongst younger voters but face criticism over energy policies. Number 5 is BSW, Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht. Their color is light blue, and political position left-wing populist. They were founded in 2023 by Sarah Wagenknecht, a former left party leader. Opposes uncontrolled immigration and at the same time they support workers' rights and economic equality. BSW is a new party but has gained support from the former left party voters. Number 6 is Alternative for Germany, AfD. Their color is dark blue, and they're probably the most controversial party right now. And political position is nationalist right. They're anti-immigration party, critical of the EU, and they promote German nationalism. Very strong support in Eastern Germany, Saxony, Thuringia and Brandenburg. AfD is controversial, with some people labeling it as an extremist party, but has growing support from discontented voters. Number 7 is the Left Party, Die Linke, and their color is purple-red. Political position is far-left socialist. They advocate for wealth redistribution, higher taxes, free education and healthcare. Right now they're losing support, with many voters switching to the BSW. Die Linke traditionally had a strong support in East Germany, but it is struggling to stay relevant. And right now let's go to Germany and ask people, what do they think about the upcoming elections and who are they going to vote for? Could you tell me a little bit about these elections and what are the preferences of German people?
Sure. It's a very difficult question because it maybe decides the future of whole Europe.
Okay.
If the AfD wins, maybe it's good for Germany, maybe it's not. Because they want to quit the European selection and the NATO. But I think it's very difficult to quit the NATO, and it could be very difficult for our economy, for our German economies. But the main point for the most people in Germany is the immigration, because Germany very much mistakes. And that's the main point in the AfD, why they are so supported by the Germans, because they really want to fight against it. And I have to say this point is for me also one of the main points, because you see Germany over the last more criminal immigrants, and not everybody, not all of them. Everybody, some of them want to work here, really want to live here, and this is bad for them. If the AfD wins, I would not be against it. So
Okay.
the CDU maybe have a coalition with the AfD. The people in Germany would not really like it, especially in the east side.
So do you think the support of AfD is bigger here in Frankfurt than in Eastern Germany?
Yes, sure.
Alrighty, and I have another question. Do you know a country named Taiwan? And do you think that Germany should support it or not?
Oh, that's a difficult question, because China want it back, because the USA have military there.
No, not officially. There is some American
They are
staff that is
related-
they are related,
to Americans,
and
yes.
the US has Taiwan Relations Act, and if Taiwan gets invaded, the US would come and help. But unfortunately, right now there is no military base there. They're not stationary.
I think it's a 50-50 chance that it would end in a war. So I don't want a war, so it would be better to not support him, right?
Well, to prevent the war from happening, in my opinion, it's better to give Taiwan everything it needs, like weaponry, like everything, so that China knows if they attack, it will be a big problem for them.
So they can defend themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Kind of Russia-Ukraine thingy.
Yes.
So we provide them with everything they can, and then they protect themselves.
Yeah, but we also give the Ukraine and Israel our weapons, so more money for others. Yeah, it's also a thing which the AfD wanna cut off. So our country has more money for ourselves.
Do you prefer to win these elections?
I would prefer BSW, Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht, since I don't believe that our parliament should be centered more left or more right. And I guess BSW is very centered. I'm a huge fan of the ideological socialism, but our parliament shouldn't only be left or right.
Do you think about the possible alliances within the German parliament? What do you think the possibility of a new alliance is?
Now there are a lot of conversations about the CDU and the AfD to cooperate, but I don't hope that this will happen, since I hate the AfD. I'm honest. I never can understand how you could deny something like climate change or racism. I was raised very left, so I deny the AfD completely.
Do you think there is a possibility of such a coalition, everyone against AfD? I think it is like that in some of the local parliaments here in Germany.
Yes.
So it would be CDU, SPD, Die Grüne, FDP, everyone going against AfD if they get too much votes. Do you think there is such a possibility?
Maybe, since in the past you can see on many Sitzungen,
Sessions.
during those sessions, that some politicians would never accept the questions of the AfD in between, and for sure they should also have the right to say something and to be part of the discussion. But I guess there are so many politicians of the AfD who have nothing in their heads, so I would be happy if there would be a huge cooperation against the AfD.
Thank you. Great. I have another question. Do you know a country named Taiwan?
Yes.
And what do you know about this country? And do you think Germany should support it?
I only know about their technological devices, since I saw a lot of YouTube videos when I was younger about how YouTubers unboxed very, very modern laptops. But I don't know more. I think they want to become independent, right?
Like there is a de facto independent status of Taiwan, but China is challenging it. And China is saying that Taiwan is a part of China, but Taiwan has its own government, its own political system, its own army, like its own everything. So they are trying to maintain status quo without being invaded by China, but right now China is becoming stronger and stronger, and they're challenging their like de facto independence more and more. So that's why I'm asking people, what do you think about democratic country in Asia, if you should support it or not?
I think Germany should support it, since they have their own government, etc. It would be a good thing if they become independent. And I believe that war is never the answer to some questions. So it would be very sad if Taiwan was invaded by China. I would say yes to independence or to support from Germany.
Who will you vote for in the elections?
Good question. It will probably turn out conservative because a change needs to happen. The current government, especially with the FDP, I hope the FDP won't be part of the new government because they only bring chaos. But otherwise, it has to be a grand coalition led by the CDU because the SPD is no longer getting the votes. And that's the only hope, I think, CDU and SPD, grand coalition. Yes, I think that's how it will turn out. The AFD will not get enough votes to gain more seats. I don't think the CDU will form a coalition. That's not possible. And that's why it will be a grand coalition. And in that regard, whether you vote for the CDU or SPD, it ultimately doesn't matter. But let's see.
What do you think about the Greens? I am very dissatisfied with their work because I also feel they have not been true to their own goals. In that regard, climate change is still a threat. As a Green Party member, Habeck had to because he was simply obligated to re-establish connections with Qatar to secure gas reserves. But overall, all of this is, I don't know what the Greens are actually running for. And I think it's still outrageous to present the chancellor candidate with only 12% votes. I find that kind of ridiculous. And I have one more question. What comes to mind when you hear the word Taiwan?
The next big conflict, I would say. That's the question. Right now, with the new developments from DeepSeek in China, the chip supply there also needs to be managed, which makes Taiwan that important. But the big question is whether China is ready to attack Taiwan right now and the U.S. can't defend it. I already had the concern that we have three major conflict zones, with Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Gaza, and China-Taiwan, especially since at that time, China and Russia were still aligning. But thankfully, that has all pulled apart for now. And everything is problematic for the world, but in this case, it's better. Everyone is on their own. But let's see, we can't really defend Taiwan. It's right off the coast of China. In the end, it will be. I don't know if there will be a naval battle. I'm not a war expert, so I can't say. But just for the economy and technological progress, Taiwan must continue to belong to the Western world. The aid should not be limited to Germany, but should come from the European Union. The European Union must decide this for itself. The European Union should stand together on this. As a single country, I don't know how much we can achieve.
Who will you vote for in the elections?
Actually, the AFD.
Why AFD?
Why the AFD? Because I want to preserve Germany. That doesn't mean I'm against foreigners. I love foreigners. Anyone who comes here and works here and joins the community is welcome to come here. But there are many people who are not aware of this, and they don't really adapt to it. Because when I go to another country, I adapt to it. There are many people who come here and do not adapt. And I just find that when there are many assaults here, this and that, then it just doesn't belong here.
Dann hat es halt einfach nichts zu suchen.
And what do you think about their economic policy?
Well, in today's world, actually nothing at all. I think Germany is really being driven into a wall. So nothing is being done for the German economy anymore. Nothing is being done for the German citizens. If you attach a German sticker to a car, then you will, let's say, really be called a Nazi. You are no longer allowed to stand for Germany. And I think back then Germany really stood for quality. It truly stood for doing things. Nowadays, everything has been scaled back. And I think today's politics are no longer worthy of what they once were. Politics should wake up much more and be more for the German citizens. Every country, whether it's Turkey, Spain, no matter what country, you are always allowed to stand up for yourself, except for us in Germany. And I think we used to be a good country, but we keep getting driven down further. And I find that very sad, because we Germans are a very good country, and we should still keep our values, but it feels like we can no longer keep them.
Do you think there will be a coalition between the AfD and other parties?
I don't think so, no, because the AfD is being pushed further out. And whether it's the Greens, SPD, CDU or CSU, they don't want to work. They always say they want to work with the AfD, but in the end, they don't really want to. And it's not about what each party wants, but rather what the people choose. And if the people choose the AfD, then CDU, SPD, Greens, FDP should also. No matter what party it is, they should work together. Because that's what the people want, and therefore it should be a collaboration. They should not be excluded. It should not be a rivalry, but a collaboration. A solution should be found for everyone, especially for Germany. And I think that's the most important thing, that we can all live together in peace someday. There should not be war, hate or envy again. Every person should live in love for one another.
Who are you going to vote for, and who do you hope wins these elections?
It's an easy answer for me, for somebody who grew up here in Germany, and I'm too a foreigner here in Germany, and AfD is the only solution for Germany, to be honest. Alice Weidel is my personal favorite. I see how much damage was done in the last couple of years with the left wing, radical wing, if I can say something like that. It's just horrible. I have a German girlfriend, I myself Polish, and I can't let her alone at night to go with the dog to walk to the nearest shop or somewhere, because it's so dangerous. Here in this park behind us, in the last 3 weeks were about 5 or 6 robberies, where a group of immigrants have beaten up people and stole their valuables. So it's crazy. I mean, I live here for about 10 years, and something like this never was present here. It was common in Berlin, but Berlin is Berlin and Frankfurt was Frankfurt. So it's fucking dangerous to be alone at nights. Yeah.
And final question.
Yeah.
What comes to your mind when you hear the word Taiwan?
Taiwan. Hard topic. Beautiful country, the best chips of the world, because Taiwan produces is the biggest producer. I see in Taiwan the future, like cyberpunk style, because they are very ahead with the technology, and of course the big elephant in the room, China. So will there be a war? Will there be no war? It's an interesting topic. I think personally Taiwan should, it's the same like before I said, they should have their own culture, they should be their own state, their own country, and not try to mix with China.
That's a very good answer. And do you think Germany should support Taiwan?
Yes, of course, why not? Yeah, I think in this new day and age, we should see new allies, because these allies which we have right now are not our allies, are not our friends. They are actively working against us. So it's time for new allies and common friends.
Who wins these elections, and who would you vote for this time?
It's difficult to answer, but I can definitely say I'm hoping who's not gonna win, which is gonna be the CDU and the AfD. I hope that both of them will not win this upcoming election.
Okay, so you think that there will be like a coalition against these two parties?
I cannot imagine that both of the parties will go together. They would have a difficult time, I think, and it would shake the democracy in Germany. So maybe even if the AfD and the CDU will gonna win, they are not be able to go together.
The possibility would be like what we're having right now with the traffic light.
No, I don't think so, because the FDP, this is just a feeling I get, they lost a lot of credibility within the last 2 years.
Okay.
And in my opinion, was one of the main reasons why the coalition broke up.
And final question, what comes to your mind when you hear the word Taiwan?
Wow, Taiwan. Hope. And in a time since 2015, when I get the feeling that the whole world is becoming more and more conservative, and that many countries as Taiwan, or maybe also South and North Korea, I hope that those countries, Taiwan, gonna be able to stay independent.
Thank you so much. And do you think that Germany should support Taiwan?
Germany's first goal shouldn't be Taiwan, but maybe getting a unified Europe together, and maybe as Europe supporting Taiwan.
Alrighty, so thank you so much for agreeing to take part in that. So who do you prefer to win these elections here in Germany?
I'm neutral on that. I just don't want the far right to win.
Okay, and what do you think is the strategy not to let them win?
It's to make sure that you talk with some expertise, quite about the problems the country is facing, economic problems, the war in Ukraine, the climate breakdown, but also, of course, the recent attacks on innocent people, which politicians are trying to solve but haven't been able to.
Thank you. And one final question. Have you ever heard about Taiwan?
Oh, I have, yes, very much so.
Oh, what do you think about Taiwan?
I was doing Tai Chi, and a friend went to Taiwan to do a bit more of Tai Chi.
Okay.
But I have friends in Australia and people. I'm very fond of Taiwan, of course.
And do you think that Germany should support Taiwan?
Absolutely, and I think they will.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a wonderful. Who do you prefer to win these elections?
Robert Habeck and the Green Party.
Why? Why Green Party?
Because the Green Party is having a stance on like most topics that I comply with, and like I have the same view on these topics as the Green Party.
Can you give some examples?
First of all, climate. Climate, I think, is for me the most important topic. I think it's the only party, even if the Green Party is not doing what they said regarding the climate change and what actions they would take, at least in the election right now, or like in the Wahlkampf, they don't make it as their main topic right now. They other topics are bigger, which was not like that before. But for me, climate change.
Election campaign.
Election campaign, exactly. Yes. Regarding that, they also see them as very on my side. Also, even migration, I'm on their side. Like for example, like the CDU or the AfD, they have a very general compromised position on migration, and right now there was a big thing, also the everything that happening right now, and I think they are the only party that rather try to tackle the problem itself than the symptoms, which we all see right now. We have symptoms. There's a big problem with migration, but they're not just trying to we have the symptoms, let's fight the symptoms. They are, in my opinion, rather looking at the core and try to integrate these people into Germany, and not just say generally we have a problem with people that are not initially from here. So I think that's also something where I support them a lot. Yes, I think that's. But also, yeah.
What do you think about the possible coalitions with the Green Party?
I think, as the Green Party's primary partner is the SPD, the Socialist Party. But I think actually looking at the statistics and the polls right now, it's gonna be black, green, or black, red. So like the CDU, Christ Democrat Party. So I think that's probably like the most likely one. I think the Green Party should not. Like there's also a lot of calls right now they should not do a coalition with the CDU, but I think actually it's like looking at the facts one of the the most likely, and I think they should not just say we don't do it just because like of ideology, because the CDU now like work together with the AfD with their right party. I think they should not thereby like give away the possibility to be in the government. I think that should not be the case, but also, I hope that the Green Party is going to win. Like that would be my favorite. Like a green-red coalition and government would be my favorite, of course. But it's rather unlikely.
And one final question: yes. What comes to your mind when you hear the word Taiwan?
Taiwan, semiconductors is the first thing I think about when I think about Taiwan, and also I think a lot about geopolitical tensions between China and America, and like there's like many scenarios. There's gonna be like a war, or like at least some kind of armed conflict in the next 20-30 years, and I think it's gonna be more like people don't look there right now. Like we look at other places, we look at Ukraine, we look at Palestine, but I think also this is gonna be of more and more importance. But also I just heard today that Donald Trump is like imposing tariffs on Taiwan,
everyone basically,
on everyone basically, but also on Taiwan, which like I think he wants
Canada,
to bring
Taiwan, Mexico.
He wants to bring like also like the semiconductor manufacturing to the US, which is I don't know, interesting, but like that's what I think about. It's gonna be interesting in the next years what's gonna happen there. Yeah.
And do you think Germany should support Taiwan?
This is something I didn't thought about too much. Like I feel like right now, maybe not Germany in particular. I feel like the NATO and I think the US in general, we should support Taiwan also, and it's also sovereignty. But yeah. I think like this will be more important. I feel like right now like not many people and politicians look there, but I feel like it's going to be important in the next years.
Thank you so much.